A man broke into a tomb and crawled into a coffin to steal and meet a long-dead woman. A man in his 50s, despite the horror of a female corpse, finds her attractive. Li Yiguang feels fortunate as the woman is the favored concubine of Emperor Guangxu. He ties a yellow silk around the concubine's neck, then puts his own head through it. Li Yiguang holds the concubine in his arms, quickly adorns himself with her necklaces, and gently cradles her face. She slightly opens her lips, showing a beauty pearl inside. Li Yiguang tilts the concubine's chin, and she spits out a beauty pearl. Li Yiguang packs jewelry into the coffin after stripping the concubine. While packing, Li Yiguang cleverly hid his valuable gold and jade crown and treasure box under the concubine's clothes. He concealed more jewels before exiting the tomb. People envied the abundance of gold and silver jewelry. The six agreed to share the loot equally. After the team disbanded, Li Yiguang returned to the concubine's tomb with his treasures. He went to fetch the hidden treasure, but upon packing it, he noticed Jinfei had transformed into an old woman, wrinkled and aged without the beauty pearl. Li Yiguang, frightened, crawled out of the coffin to flee the tomb. Jinfei suddenly sat up, opened her eyes, and spoke, creating a terrifying moment. In 1938, a special funeral was held in Yixian, Hebei. A bright red coffin adorned with runes passed by as chanting monks and civil and military officials paid their respects. Such a remarkably grand funeral was held for an obscure concubine. Jinfei, the favorite concubine of Emperor Guangxu. Guangxu, a hunchbacked emperor with 3 palaces and 6 courtyards, had concubines who were similarly flawed, except for the standout Jinfei. She was as beautiful as a pearl on jade, with red lips. She moved gracefully like a willow, her smile charming like spring. Guangxu was unable to fully enjoy her presence. During the Eight-Nation Alliance's invasion of Beijing, Cixi wished to flee with Guangxu, but Jinfei argued the emperor shouldn't abandon the nation. Jinfei's broader perspective struck a nerve with Cixi. What else do you have to say? Cui Yugu, execute. Grant him a complete corpse. Guangxu desperately pleaded, but Cixi ordered Jinfei to be thrown into the well. At just 20, Jinfei's beautiful life ended in the well, consumed by resentment. A woman's sorrowful cries filled the palace each night. Cixi bravely pursued the sound and reached the well where Jinfei drowned. Jinfei emerged from the well, filled with resentment and shedding blood tears, as ghostly hands reached out. Cixi was so frightened that she turned to run, but Jinfei chased after her to claim her life. Help! The palace maid's early discovery saved Cixi's life. A year after Jinfei's death, Cixi ordered her body retrieved from the well, honored her as precious concubine, and reburied her in the western Qing tombs. Cixi aimed to quell Jinfei's unrest through various means. Monks were invited to chant scriptures for her. The gold and jewels buried with concubine Zhen ranked just below those of Guangxu. The extravagant burial drew thieves, leading 6 men to form a blood pact to raid the tomb 23 years later during a national crisis. After concubine Zhen's burial, a eunuch named Fuhai remained to guard her grave. The 6 easily obtained the keys to the mausoleum, but upon arriving at the tomb, they found a corpse at the entrance, seemingly dead for not long. Encountering treasures comes with a deadly warning. But poverty is even more frightening than death. They moved the body and opened the hidden wooden door. They tested the oxygen level in the tomb by dropping a kerosene lamp first. Li Yiguang entered the tomb as the flame flickered. After years of being single, he recently married a younger wife, but his inability to satisfy her led to her crying every day since their wedding. Li Yiguang aimed to strike it rich to buy ginseng and deer antler for a better life. Li Yiguang joyfully discovered concubine Zhen's bright red coffin upon entering the tomb. Li Yiguang fiercely smashed the coffin with a big hammer, holding his gentle paradise. A large hole was broken in the coffin, and Li Yiguang used an oil lamp to look inside. He found Jinfei covered with a red silk cloth and uncovered treasures shining beneath it. Li Yiguang immediately crawled through the hole and awkwardly met Jinfei. Jinfei, deceased for 24 years, appeared pale with delicate features. Li Yiguang was shocked by her appearance, but was drawn to the enticing treasures nearby. Reaching for the gold and jade jar. Li Yiguang, seeing Jinfei lifeless, took her treasure box, swiped her rui, and even removed her jade bracelet, intending to take everything from her. Jinfei wore a string of Hainan pearls, and Li Yiguang tied a yellow ribbon around her neck, ultimately placing it around his own neck, symbolically hanging her up. Li Yiguang quickly put all of Jinfei's necklaces around his own neck, then cupped her face with both hands and shook it. Jinfei parted her lips, revealing a beauty pearl. Li Guang nudged Jinfei's chin, causing her to spit out the beauty pearl. Li Guang placed jewels in the coffin after stripping Jinfei. While packing, Li Guang had an idea and hid his valuable gold and jade crown and treasure box under Jinfei's clothes. He concealed several jewels before leaving the tomb. Greed blinded everyone by the sight of gold and silver. They initially planned to use the treasures to save the country, but now their desire for wealth has turned to greed. The six agreed to divide the items they took. A total of 61 treasures were counted, allowing for 10 pieces each, plus one large wreath. This treasure was worth a fortune, making it unsuitable to give to anyone. They had to break the yi into small pieces. The dedicated team claimed their cherished items. Li Yiguang went back to Jinfei's tomb to find the hidden treasure after the team disbanded. As Li Yiguang finished packing, he was shocked to see Jinfei had transformed into an old woman covered in wrinkles without her beauty pearl. He hurriedly crawled out of the coffin to escape. But at that moment, Jinfei sat up and opened her eyes. What was frightening is that she spoke. Li Yiguang believed a vengeful ghost was haunting him and pleaded for mercy. Jinfei remained motionless in the coffin upon his second glance. Li Yiguang fled the tomb in fear, while Jin Laowu sought pleasure after finding the treasure. Sui Hua, who once looked down on Laowu for being poor, even kicked him out. Now that Laowu had money, he wanted to use it to humiliate Sui Hua. Sui Hua smiled at Laowu upon seeing the jewel. The beautiful pearl was taken from a dead person's mouth. Laowu and his gang robbed Jinfei's tomb, stealing her beauty pearl. Li Yiguang returned home and placed Jinfei's hairpin in his wife Ermai's hair. Ermai was thrilled and rushed to the mirror. As Ermai turned, she transformed into Jinfei, whose shadow appeared in the mirror. Ermai noticed Li Yiguang's unease and pressed him about the hairpin. Li Yiguang brought up tomb raiding, frightening Ermai so much he withdrew. The dead are eerie, so he left quickly. Li Yiguang's paranoia has increased since entering the tomb. He fears the dirty room and hiding in the cellar. Li Yiguang saw Jinfei's shadow when Ermai delivered food. The more scared Li Yiguang became, the more often Jinfei appeared to follow Ermai. Even in the cellar, she felt trapped like in a tomb. Under extreme tension, Li Yiguang drank to gain courage, but ended up drunkenly revealing details about the tomb robbery. The forest protection team found the Jinfei tomb had been robbed and sought the missing treasures. Finding no clues, they unexpectedly got lucky. Li Yiguang led the recovery of 4 stolen treasures. The protection team's captain appeared trustworthy, but secretly hoarded treasures for himself instead of the state. To address the Jinfei tomb robbery, the captain tracked down and apprehended the main culprit. The cunning captain hosted a grand feast for the instigator, thanking him for his significant contributions of wealth. The instigator's luck ran out, and he confronted the captain. As a poor man, he rarely feasted on meat, so he indulged. But no one else at the table moved their chopsticks. Onlookers were terrified as they watched Shurchen eat. The captain stayed calm, consistently pouring wine for Shurchen during his meal. When Shurchen was satisfied, the captain lit him a cigarette for enjoyment. The captain asked Shurchen about the whereabouts of the thief who took 2 pieces of jewelry, but he was unaware as they had already escaped. Shurchen accepted his imminent execution with satisfaction, grateful for a full stomach. The captain slowly spoke after finding no valuable clues. Shurchen was initially skeptical, but felt sick after seeing others' reactions. He then vomited and attempted to attack the captain violently. The captain ordered the execution of Shurchen and others. The tomb raiders lost their lives and the jewelry they sought. The captain became smug and held a banquet after acquiring the jewelry. The noise caught the bandits' attention. An old man grabbed the jewelry from the table during the battle. He got away. He quickly lost the treasures, which changed hands multiple times. In the end, it was Fu Hai who took it away. Jinfei's jewels circulated in the world, tempting greedy individuals to their doom. But ultimately, they were buried by Fu Hai. Greed can be dangerous. Pursuing ill-gotten gains is risky and may jeopardize your life. Concludes today's story and says goodbye.